The US government could shut down in 36 hours after congressional Republicans refused to pass a funding extension bill. Donald Trump and Elon Musk have thrown the process into chaos, and now Speaker Mike Johnson's position hangs in the balance. Sky News Washington correspondent Annalise Nielsen joins us live now with the latest. So, Annalise, why has this come to a head now?
Well, look, there is a real power struggle happening on Capitol Hill at the moment, and this is very much Donald Trump asserting his authority over the Republican Party after his historic win at this election, but before he comes into power. So what was happening this week was a bill called the Continuing Resolution was being put to a vote. Now, generally, those have to be done by the protocols of the House at least 72 hours before that deadline comes up. What that bill does is keep the funding going for key programs right through until they have to vote on a debt limit again. What we've seen happen this time is Speaker Mike Johnson try to put a few extra things in there that were a little controversial, quietly releasing those details very late in the game, and it's really blown up quite significantly. One of the big problems was he tried to put in a fundraiser for the salaries of members of Congress and their staff. They haven't had a raise since 2009. They're well behind inflation, but most Americans don't have any sympathy for people on Capitol Hill wanting a raise. So this has come to a standstill. And really, it's because Donald Trump has become involved. He said it has to go. They have to stop giving in to Democrat demands. There's been a few things that the Democrats got put in there that the Republicans were unhappy about. And Elon Musk has weighed in as well. So now you have this unusual situation with members of Congress making direct appeals to the incoming president, not the president yet, and Elon Musk, his, you could say, most senior civilian advisor. What we're watching happening in all this too is the influence of J.D. Vance. Now, he is still a senator and he is wielding that power. His staff are the ones really doing a lot of this negotiating with Mike Johnson, who's worked very hard to try and stay in the good books with Donald Trump. But right now, he is facing his own leader vote on January 3rd. There are a number of Republicans who are suggesting they won't vote for him. Donald Trump said to Fox News Digital he's confident he'll be able to stay on, but that's no guarantee at the moment. This is how fraught everything has become. And so we're looking at Friday night, potentially the government going into shutdown, not having that funding, just to make it all the more chaotic. Donald Trump's now said, while you're at it, I want you to do the continuing resolution the way I want it. And I also want you to raise the debt limit ceiling or let this whole thing blow up on Joe Biden's watch. Don't leave this mess for me. So this is why this has come to a head now. A lot of Republicans in the House are saying, hey, let's blow this thing up now. I'm happy to do it. Let's stop the government until January 20, till Donald Trump comes in. But that's not how Congress works. So here's a little glimpse at some of the chaos that's happening on Capitol Hill at the moment. Here's J.D. Vance leaving after speaking to the Speaker, Mike Johnson, about what's been happening.
We had a productive conversation. I'm not going to say anything else more about it tonight because we're in the middle of these negotiations, but I think we'll be able to solve some problems here, and we'll keep working on it.
Kenny, to give you a sense of how blunt the intervention by Donald Trump has been in all this, this is what he posted on Truth Social. If Republicans try to pass a clean continuing resolution without all the Democrat bells and whistles, that will be so destructive to our country. All it will do after January 20th is bring the mess of the debt limit into the Trump administration rather than allowing it to take place in the Biden administration. Any Republican that would be so stupid as to do this should and will be primaried. Everything should be done and fully negotiated prior to my taking office on January 20th, 2025. That's a real threat to any member of Congress. Remember, in the US, they only get 2 years when you're a member of the House of Representatives before you're up for election again. So they're pretty much constantly in re-election mode. And to have someone like Donald Trump say he'd primary a Republican, right now he is the absolute kingmaker in the Republican grassroots movement. So that is a very big deal. What we've seen from the Democrats is they're not helping things either. They've said, look, we're not going to save Mike Johnson. He's not going to be able to rely on any Democrats to come to his aid if it does come down to a leadership vote.
This reckless Republican-driven shutdown can be avoided if House Republicans will simply do what is right for the American people and stick with the bipartisan agreement that they themselves negotiated.
If Mike Johnson puts out something that's amiable to Democrats, he may face a revolt in the House Republican conference on the speakership vote on January 3rd. Would Democrats consider voting for him in that vote if he does something amiable to you with the CR?
No.
So, Kenny, most people thought they'd be going off on leave on Friday in Washington, D.C. Now it's building up to perhaps one of the biggest things to happen in Congress this year, because if they don't pass it, government payments will stop for people like government workers, postal workers, servicemen and women, and it will be absolutely chaotic in those last lead-ups to Inauguration Day in January.
Annalise Nielsen, appreciate it. Thank you.